my informal address, but I think a lot of practical submissions need to be made in this platform, and that's why we're here as a collective. And speaking from personal experience, I had taken over as Minister of Water Supply and Estate Infrastructure in January 2023. And Sri Lanka, as all of you are aware, went through an unprecedented economic crisis. And because of this economic crisis, the people who suffered were mostly belonging to the rural and the estate community. And one of the biggest issues that I had to face is I was tasked with a job of providing or expanding the services of water connections, but without any financing whatsoever. As all of you are aware, when the treasury is depleted, it is difficult to push forward in terms of expansion. And though we did face pressure, though we did face a lot of opposition, we set the water sector on a path of reform, and we were able to more or less increase the credibility of the institution. And apart from that, we were also able to look at where we went wrong. And where we went wrong was the financial policies that had run the sector. And apart from that, there was also the issue of unsustainability. And though globally we were being advised to achieve SDG 6, it is not possible to achieve SDG 6 if we do not have the instruments for it. And right now we have made a remarkable recovery, a recovery that not many people expected. However, with the water sector, nearly 30 projects had been stalled due to the economic crisis. And all these 30 projects are projects which cater to the rural community, to people who needed water. Though we are providing the population of Sri Lanka close to 60.4% with pipe-borne drinking water, reality of the matter is the rural community did not have water, and neither did they have quality drinking water. The policies that were being followed was urban sector was being given water first, but the source of the water was from the rural sector. Unfortunately, the rural community did not have any water. And right now, with the reforms that we have undertaken, we have come up with the public-private partnership guidelines. We have come up with the water tariff guidelines. And I think it is during my time, after nearly a decade, we had increased the tariff on water. I think everyone sitting in this table would agree that globally speaking, water is heavily subsidized and it's undervalued, hence the unsustainability, which is why this alliance is of importance and is the need of the hour. I am the youngest minister in the history of Sri Lanka. And being the youngest minister in the history of Sri Lanka, this is of very big importance to me because I think the era of conceptualizing, policy making, and talking is enough. And the era of action has come to play. With the era of action coming into play, I'm confident with the Blended Financing Alliance, we would be able to not just resume our projects, but also push forward in providing sustainability to the water sector. And one aspect of blended financing, which needs to be spoken about, is that blended financing not only ensures collective responsibility of the public and private sector, but it also assures transparency, accountability, and efficiency of the government sector. And that is something that has been amiss all this while. I think one thing that we must all acknowledge and admit is the fact that with the water sector, regardless of which country, I think many of us here are politicians, we would have noticed that regardless of whichever country, we have always taken a populist ideology which has led the water sector towards an unsustainable path. However, with a shift in dynamic with this alliance, I'm fairly confident that collectively we will be able to forge forward. Lastly, I would also like to say that as far as the government of Sri Lanka is concerned, right now the reforms that have been taking place in the water sector are reforms which have not been done in half a century. And with relation to one more thing that we do have in the pipeline, very soon we will be discussing with our parliament as well on bringing legislation on energy transformation. We are focusing on renewable energy, and in fact, we were pleased to have a discussion with the Minister of Maritime Investment, where we had even spoken about the possibilities of seaweed into biogas. And these are areas of cooperation where the Global South Initiative would really help developing countries such as us. And through this, I genuinely believe we will not only be able to achieve SDG 6, but we will be able to go beyond. Let me once again thank the government of Indonesia and all other esteemed guests and partners here. And hopefully we'll be able to meet again with more productive times. Thank you.
Thank you.